Okay, so it seems like we have some news about Cinder. Now, obviously, I wasn't expecting to make a video so soon after the last one I made on the whole impersonation stuff, but it seems like there's been some kind of revelations in terms of a new post that's come out for the first time since the apology that went up on her Twitter. If you guys don't remember, obviously Cinder made an apology which didn't go down very well with a lot of people when the drama first happened, and then since then we haven't really heard much from Cinder since. She hasn't actually said anything personally on any of her accounts, but it seems like we do have a new message now, which obviously some people are saying that she returned, but I kind of wanted to go through and kind of debunk that and talk about it. Now, obviously, if you guys know, over on the Discord, they've actually opened up the kind of chats permanently, which I think is great. Obviously, it means that people can get back to talking again, and I think that people, who want to talk about, stuff not necessarily related to Cinder, but just like in general to some people that they've always interacted with in the community, I think it's a great thing that they decide to reopen it because it allows people to do that and kind of interact with the people that they once interacted with. But obviously as well on this Discord, we haven't heard anything from Cinder herself, and a lot of this was set up by the moderators. But recently, there was actually a post from Cinder, I'm guessing this is in like the announcements chat or something like that, essentially saying happy 3rd anniversary Pyro Pups. Now, if you don't know, the other day was the 3rd anniversary, I'm pretty sure, of Cinder, and obviously this has been commented quite a lot in my last video. So again, obviously it's a big moment for her, I guess. And obviously, yeah, this is the first post that we've seen since a lot of this stuff has happened. Now, this was posted on r/virtual YouTubers. They said Cinder has returned 2 months after the incident. Now, I don't think this is a return. I think this is literally just a message and gone. I don't think this is going to be, the spark of like, oh, Cinder's back, she's finally back. I honestly think that obviously it's such a big milestone and such a big, like kind of anniversary, I guess, that it was just one of those things that just making a post and leaving, I think that's totally fine. And obviously, I think that obviously it kind of hints at the fact that, Cinder is still going to be a brand and still going to be a VTuber that exists in the future. And I feel like, this kind of message saying happy 3rd anniversary does kind of confirm that we will see her at some point. Not saying that it will be anytime soon, but I do think that she will continue to kind of use the Cinder brand and still continue to be Cinder online, which I think is very interesting. And obviously, it kind of points us in the direction of, what will happen in the future. Now, that doesn't mean that she's necessarily coming back to streaming full time or anything. I mean, she still could be Cinder and just like not stream, not do content anymore, and just kind of exist online, on other places. But again, obviously that is just something that we'll have to, find out and see in the future. But obviously this is the only message that we've gotten. Now, people have actually reacted to this in the virtual YouTubers Reddit. Essentially, some people saying, can we really call this returning? Setting an announcement about the 3rd anniversary of her channel in a Discord is a bit different. When you say returning, it makes it sound like she's streaming again. Which, yeah, I can kind of see that. Obviously, I feel like, you can say that she's returning to the internet, obviously because she has been away for quite a while. She's been away for 2 months. Now, obviously, some people are arguing as well over the fact of whether she should return or not, like actually fully, not just like one message in a Discord chat, which honestly, I still think it's a bit too early. I think 2 months is still a bit too early to return. And honestly, I'm not too opposed to Cinder returning to the community and returning to streaming. But the only thing is, we need like a good kind of apology. I think, last time with the apology, it was pretty terrible and it kind of, pushed a lot of stuff over onto redacted. And I think, as I said before, it doesn't have an expiry. This isn't like something where like, oh, if you wait like 2 months, if you wait like 3 months, oh, it's all forgiven now because, we've forgotten about it. The time's expired. It doesn't matter anymore. That's not the case. And I think, it's still very important to bring up a lot of the stuff that she's done. And obviously, I think the main thing, I don't think it's a question of like how she will return. Obviously, I'm pretty sure her streams are going to be very popular and her content is going to be very popular if she does decide to return. But I do think it's more of the case of, how will she decide to cope with the fact that she's got a lot of pressure from a lot of VTubers now, including, obviously her previous friends and things that she is like obviously betrayed. How is she going to do a lot of the content that she's done in the past? Because I don't think very many people are going to want to work with her. And obviously the same goes for other VTubers as well, not just her friends, not just the people that she's worked with, but the people that haven't worked with her and have seen the drama, have seen what has gone on, and don't want the same to happen to them. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be turning down collaboration requests about that too. And, whenever you look at Cinder's content, there is a lot of collaborations that have went on. So is she going to maybe make a switch of content and try to make it a little bit more personal and just without, the added input of other VTubers? Because again, I don't see how she's going to do that if she does decide to come back, because no VTuber is really going to want to work with her. And I don't really blame them, to be honest, because, a lot of it is, they've been completely backstabbed and they found out about it. And I think loads of people don't want to fall into that same trap, and that's totally fine. I think that's totally okay. Now, obviously, we can keep going saying, I'm not surprised, but I'll be surprised if she regains her former popularity. She's going to be persona non grata for a long while, which I think, yeah, that's definitely true. I feel like, the initial stream of her comeback is going to be pretty big. I feel like, a lot of people are going to be watching that, but whenever it comes to future streams and, kind of popularity later on, I don't think it's going to be as strong as it used to be, as I think she has lost quite a lot of fans. Obviously, there's still quite a lot of people, as I said, like over on the Discord and stuff, who are looking forward to her return and stuff, which I think is fine. But at the end of the day, I think it is important that people remember what exactly she's done, and, you don't forget what she's done, because I think that a lot of people are trying to just be like, trying to downplay it, or trying to get rid of that kind of notion, which I just don't think is healthy at all, and we need to remember those kind of things. Now, obviously, as well, people keep going on saying, it's a bold strategy, and let's see if it pays off for them. So again, people are, putting in different kind of messages in here saying, wait, what? Is this the newest message from the Discord? They said, yep. They said, it's already been 2 months. God, time needs to slow down. I said, it was only 2 months. Feels like it was years ago. Next thing is wondering if when she will stream again soon. So definitely will. You could do something pretty. I'm not even going to say that, but you could legit do something pretty terrible, and you'll still have fans if you're sexy enough. Which, yeah, definitely is true. They say no matter how horrible you are, someone will always simp, which, yep, 100% true. And I think, there will be a lot of people over there who will have, a lot of, people that are still going to be fans due to the fact of them being pretty obsessed with her in general. And obviously there's, some normal people as well who can kind of, trying to justify it, I guess. But again, I just don't think it's very healthy to support that, her and her actions, but, do what you want to do. Obviously, this said scheduled message. It said, I'm surprised more people aren't bringing this up. For all we know, it's automated. That could be true. Obviously, it could be true. It could be an automated message. But again, obviously, they mentioned the time there. It was at like 4:56, which is such a random time for a scheduled message. So I don't really know if that is true. But again, maybe that could be a possibility. Again, so we don't know if that was actually fully her. Obviously, they say people underestimate how easily celebrities choose to turn a blind to certain things, especially when parasocial interactions come into play. I mean, no one wants to accept the fact that the person you have strong feelings for is actually a horrible person. Said if the internet has taught anyone anything, is no one is ever truly cancelled. Wait 2 weeks and come back like nothing's happened, and 9 out of 10 times it works. And considering that what she did was nothing in comparison to what other people did and came back, or even Nemu, I'm assuming she'll be back in a bit, which again is, pretty crazy. Sometimes it's just one of those cases where people for some reason just forget about what she's done, and I think that is a terrible mindset to have. I see people saying a gentle reminder for the Sims, she's not going to date you. Said, am I wrong in thinking if she actually took accountability and admitted fault, she could actually return back to streaming? Like if you came back super humbled and apologetic, feels like no one has ever actually done that, as if the only fans she can retain / get are the ones with absolute cognitive dissonance. People can't really move on if you don't try and take responsibility, which, it's true. And I've said this, I feel like it is very, very much possible to come back if she takes accountability. Obviously, people saying, I mean, the point is, this person says, I mean, the point seems to be that she hasn't done that yet, which obviously, is definitely true. And obviously someone said, yes, you're wrong. People don't give a damn about apologies. They want to hate and harass. If you've done something bad, no matter what, you write in your apology, people, that's true. But also at the same time, if you make a bad apology, like I think Cinder's apology was just objectively bad. People did not like it, no matter what side you're on, really. And I think, if she made a better apology, at least, some people would accept it. Obviously, yes, there is the point that, not everybody is going to accept a good apology. But I think at the end of the day, at least you get in the good books of some people that will be willing to, because let's be real, if someone isn't willing to accept an apology, then I think that, obviously they're too far gone, and that's just something that you should just stop worrying about. You shouldn't really care about those people. What you should care about is the people that are actually open to an apology and open to actually talking about it and open to actually, kind of reading into it. And I think those are the people that you want to kind of target with that apology. And I think, you can turn some people over. Now, obviously, it's not going to be at the same scale, but I think, it's still something for Cinder that they can do. But obviously, they haven't done that yet. They haven't released any kind of apology, which obviously as far as it goes, and if there is no apology, if there is actually any return, then I think, you know, obviously it won't look very, very good for her, and I think, you know, it could get even worse. But yeah, that's pretty much all of the news that we have on Sinder at the moment. It's very interesting to see that, you know, this message actually came up. This is the first kind of appearance. I feel like one of those weird conspiracy theorists, like spotting Bigfoot for the first time. They're like, hey, you know, we found some tracks and things like that. I think it's kind of funny. But again, you know, it's a very interesting situation. Obviously, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, because again, you know, you guys have a lot of opinions on this kind of drama and this situation. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Also, go to GameStop, use my code CASA, get 10% off, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.